What's up, everybody? It's Brandon, it's Josh, it's Rodney, and there's no Tyler. Back issues again. Actually, his muffler fell off or something. What happened?
Drive shaft.
His drive shaft, and everybody knows you can't drive without a shaft.
It just fell off.
Women are fucked. That's why they're not supposed to drive. They don't have shafts, and they don't listen. But anyways, the more important subjects, we are doing the Scream franchise. We're trying to wash some of that Harry Potter nerdiness off of us. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. But seriously. Scream, the franchise. All 4 movies, not the TV show. Bada-dang. Let's jump into it. Scream 1. One of the best openings of all time.
Yep. I have that wrote down too.
God. What is making that noise?
The hookah?
Oh, is that what that is? Did that literally stop me in my tracks?
Just the first time you smoked hookah?
Best opening of all time. That's just usually I'm doing it. Okay, yeah. Not the best opening of all time, but yeah. So, I mean, do you have
Fantastic.
comments?
Dude, so good. Like, all right, so you see Drew Barrymore.
You do. That's a fact. They're going to love our stats.
So,
Like,
Drew
first of
Barrymore,
all,
the
for all y'all out there,
actress.
you
She's
see
an
her.
actress.
You do not miss her. She's on the screen.
No, but
She's
this,
also on the
like,
cover.
okay, so you think, okay, so Drew Barrymore, big name, you know, everything's going to be, you know, groovy. Well, it's starting off with a bang pretty much.
Shitball.
But this movie tells you right off rip, nobody is safe.
Yeah.
Nobody is safe at all. I don't care who it is. But yeah, the whole Drew Barrymore scene, like, it started off real, like, horror. Like, that was, like, legitimate horror. You know, as the movie goes on, it kind of gets away from that. But the first scene, the opening scene, when she on the phone, and then his voice, and like when he gets upset while he's on the phone, he gets like this. It's an even deeper voice than what he already is, which is creepy as shit.
How calm he is.
I never want to talk to this person on the phone.
How
It's like-
calm he was so perfect.
I think
always
when I
love
was watching like the third one, it clicked to me. I was like, I should call like Rodney and like, what's your favorite scary
Oh,
movie?
dude! If it was
Hello.
nighttime, you'd have probably fucked me up.
It
dude.
was like 11. I think I was watching the game last night, the Thursday night football game. And I was like, I should call Rodney. I don't know why I thought that. I wish I would have.
I was watching them back to back last night, so
Oh,
I watched
you went back to
2,
back on
3,
them,
and
yeah,
half
you
of
had
4.
to.
But yeah, like you said, Rodney, that nobody's safe. I remember first time watching this thinking she's like the main character. Like she's going to be the final girl or whatever. And
Yeah.
murdered
Yeah,
like
and
15 minutes in.
And she's like in the front row on the cover.
You
That's
think
the
it's
beauty
about
of
her
it.
or
But
whatever.
then that's what Scream is all about, though. This is where if you're gonna if you're gonna watch Scream, yeah, that was weird.
If you're gonna go,
if
you're gonna,
if you're gonna watch
While you're
Scream
watching
for the
this.
first time, you've never seen them before, go in it knowing that these movies are basically a guide of like what not to do if you're in a like a scary situation.
and
like
we
these,
have a
like-
guide in the movie. We'll get to him. though.
Yes, yes.
That I love.
Speaking of a guide, like she kept entertaining the dude on the phone. If someone
Yeah.
random calls me, I'm not telling him no, I don't have
Yeah.
a boyfriend. Like I'm not gonna sit there and continuously talk to him.
I can see
I'm
a girl
fucking
on
hanging
a
out.
weekend though, like just having fun with it. But usually that's the kind of thing you do if you had like another friend there. Like, oh
some
my god,
backup there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Popping the popcorn.
Well, that's what like the way it's built up. It seems so innocent, and then out of nowhere, like the tone and the music kind of shifts when he's just like, "Cause I want to know who I'm looking at," and she's
Yeah.
like, "What?"
That's when you're like,
And then,
oh.
and then when he I think that's when he's like, "I'll cut you up," and like, and he's
Yeah.
like, he's just like Blondie, and it's like, oh my god, he knows my hair color.
Well, yeah, and then he says
Like-
something about Steve, and she's like, "Wait, how do you know my boyfriend's
Yeah, the
name?"
boyfriend.
And he's like, "I just thought you said you didn't have a boyfriend."
Well, at first, yeah, that's what he says. The have a boyfriend or whatever. Yeah, that shit was fucking great because he called him on. And then I called her on it, and then next thing you know, like he's on the fucking porch.
Yes,
on the patio.
tied
And this
up.
is getting real, and I love the questions are great, and he fucking tricks her.
her.
That
Yep.
fucking.
That's
motherfucker.
something
Which-
throughout the series that they do amazingly with the
Yeah.
whole God damn it, what's it called? The trivia. Like the trivia that they do in each
yeah.
movie is solid as shit.
Oh yeah.
What was you saying, Josh?
But yeah, like he tricks her with that Friday the 13th question, which I know a lot of people probably know the answer, but in that high pressure of a situation, I'm sure a lot of people would have said,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like,
I probably would have said Jason.
like just you're
He might
fucking
have-
freaking out.
And
like,
she also might have thought he meant Friday the 13th in general, not just like the first
first
one.
movie, yeah.
Like, who's the killer in Halloween? Like, you know, you're just going to say Michael Myers right away. I might have even said Jason 'cause I thought you meant in general. So yeah, that is all kinds of fucked up. The way they lay that out, it's just fucking perfection. It's a just perfection opening and tension building. Like it just gives you a little bit. You're like, is this serious? Is this getting more serious? Is this getting more serious? Like this is fucking serious, and it's intense as fuck. And then when he finally like chases her around, you know, they're talking about the popcorn, and he ends up fucking her to death. No, and she ends up outside, dude. And when she's
Front yard.
that shit is intense, dude. Where he the way he's behind her and like chases her down, stabs her, and then of course like when the parents come home, like she's over there like reaching out, you know, just hoping, like, and you're like, God, say something,
And
like
he
do
had
something, because she
stabbed her
need him
in the
in the
throat.
groin, and she's like, oh,
Well, the worst part isn't the stabbing for me. The worst part is her seeing the headlights coming, and
Yeah.
she still hadn't been stabbed yet. She sees the headlights. She's like, "Oh, I'm good. You know, my parents are home. I'm gonna go get them." And then, dude, just in the like broad daylight, it seemed, just stabs her
Because of the
right in the
lights,
chest.
yeah.
Yeah. And then hits her in the throat. And then,
she
like
couldn't
you were
scream.
saying, when she goes to scream and she can't, and I'm like, "Oh, just scream!" Like I want to yell at the
Get
TV,
one-
like,
one
"Yo,
scream out."
over here!"
yeah.
But-
And how terrible would it be to be the parents inside? They're like, what happened here, Jesus? And then they're like, I can hear her, because they hear her on the
Yeah,
phone, and
barely
she's just,
breathing.
she's holding the phone as he's like dragging her. She's like, Mom. And then like it's like, I hear you, honey. Like, we'll find
So
you.
brutal.
And he's like, quick, go down the drive down the street, because even the killer was like, they're not gonna get here in time. Da 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 da. And you just see like them go to take off, and she's just fucking hanging, like gutted. Like,
Yes.
what a perfection.
Beautiful.
By the way,
opening.
Steve, the way he was gutted, like
Yeah,
that
was
shit was
great.
gross.
The only
dude.
thing that was fucked up
That's
about it
dope.
is it was like way too quick. But like, I'll let that go.
It was-
It was literally like Steve, no, and then like she flips on the lights immediately, and he's already gone, and all the guts were out. Like it was like that would. There's no way all that happened that quickly. That's just like a minor detail. Something like you would notice, but if you've seen the movie 100 times, you're like,
Yeah.
But
Oh,
you
there's a
don't care.
lot of things I noticed
You-
in these
yeah.
movies where I'm like, oh,
You
that's
don't care.
all.
A quick crazy thing, like y'all were talking about Barrymore, though, is actually she was originally supposed to be Sydney in these movies. She came to Wes Craven because she had another movie on, and it was her idea to be offed in the beginning. She came to
Really?
Craven, was like, "Hey, like I got this movie, we got these conflicts. How about instead of me being Sydney, you get someone else, you know, that's really good for the role." And I just like we deliver just like a banger of an opening that hooks people and sends them backwards. Like I don't even know what to expect now. And they crafted this all together, and boom,
What was the other movie? You know,
I can't remember.
96.
96.
So I'll look that up while you talk more.
And they did, I think, a great job finding another Sydney.
Oh, dude,
oh
yeah.
I wouldn't even
I
want
think
Drew
she-
Barrymore to be.
Neve
Sydney.
Campbell was perfect.
As great as she is, dude. Neve Campbell.
Neve Campbell.
Is maybe the best like final girl ever. So it like worked out. She's amazing. What else, dude? I love all the references in this movie, like about real horror movies in general, dude. Billy Loomis for like Dr.
Yep.
Loomis. Billy sneaking up to Sydney's room is reminiscent of Nightmare on Elm Street, which obviously Craven did when Johnny Depp would go up to Nancy's room. Even the Don't Fear the Reaper song is like the only normal song played in the original Halloween. The rest is just Carpenter's score. And there's that one scene where Laurie's in the car with, oh my God, Annie, and they're smoking like a J, and they have Don't Fear the Reaper on the radio. So that, you know, in a way you're like, that's almost probably intentional too. And I love the teenage characters in this. Like, they're very similar
Flawless.
to most of this genre, but they are yet just a cut above the rest somehow. Don't know how they pulled that off exactly, but they did so well with the casting and everything.
Stu and Randy are my two favorites
Undoubtedly.
in these movies. Like,
Skeet Ehrlich's fucking Billy is amazing.
dude, Billy, he's creepy as shit, and it's like these movies do a really good job of like in your face, like, okay, this is the killer, but then
Psych.
all the other people, they're like, you know, okay, this is the killer. Like they give them like little facial expressions or things to do, like leaving the room at a certain time, so you never really know who the killer is going to be, even though you know who the killer is. They make you second guess yourself.
Yeah, that's something I loved about.
Yes,
all of
it's
them.
and it's
the
every single
misdirection,
one.
because they do that
Oh.
in all of them.
It's so good. And when you first really meet everybody as a whole, like that little banter between like Billy and Stu by the fountain, once you know the outcome, it's like they're almost arguing in plain sight.
Yeah,
like
they
I
are.
love that. He's
Billy
just
gives
like,
them looks like,
Yeah, he's
Like,
kind of like, he's just like, you really gonna fucking talk about this right now? Like, okay, we want to go there with it. Like, then he'll come out and be like, what if you're the killer? Like you can see it in his eyes. Like, are we really? There's another scene like that I somehow never noticed until I broke it down. I was like, dude, it's so obvious they're giving tips to each other in plain fucking sight right here. That was one of them that I thought was obvious. And then we then get the sense that Sydney is definitely our final girl now. How would this movie have differed, though? If like we kind of touched on that, do you think Barrymore would have like been better? Do you think you would have preferred her in some way, or you're just like, I'm so glad it panned out?
I'm glad.
This is like a Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark kind of deal. Like, I can't picture anybody else playing Sydney.
Yeah, but as good as Barrymore was, you could tell she probably would have been like just as good almost.
I
But
think
at the same time, you
Barrymore
can't
would have been a
guarantee that.
great side character that made it through a couple extra movies. If Barrymore was a side character, kind of
Like
like,
her
a
best
Randy,
friend?
yeah, but lasted to like, let's say, the third one, I think she'd have done great at that.
100%, dude. And then we learned that Sydney's mom, Maureen, had been raped and murdered last year as well. Like, so this town's just like under fucking fire. During the first Ghostface attack on Sydney, we see she is a fighter, which is a big reason she became so many people's favorite final girl in general. Like, I love the way she fights back in like all these movies. Doesn't take time for her to develop into that. She's like an innocent girl, but when her back's against the wall, she's ready to fucking go to war. You can't push her because she's ready to push back when it's do or die. I like how Billy magically shows up at the scene of the crime too. That was kind of immediately suspect.
Yep.
Oh my god, dude! Dropping the fucking cell phone on the ground too. That was just like, that was all around bad. Man.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're just fucking up. Like even then, it's like, how do you do that, bro? Moving past the teenage characters, Dewey and Gale are awesome.
Let me tell you something. As much as I love these movies,
Here we go.
I hate David Arquette. He is the worst actor I think I've ever seen on screen.
I love him as Dewey.
He's
though.
so bad.
He's so lovable though.
I like him. I started out not liking Gail.
I love
I think
Gale.
her character development throughout the four
course.
movies,
It was really
she
good.
grows
Because
on me.
she's a bitch.
But right off the jump, I did not like her.
Well, dude, why would you ever trust Dewey with anything though? Like after the
Look
fourth
at the
movie,
guy. What do you
you're
mean?
like,
You wouldn't trust him?
I
no.
feel like that's what makes Dewey so great though, because he's like this impactful character, but he's not your typical stereotype cop lead that makes it through. Like other horror movies, you got to have the strong,
Big burly dude.
manly,
Right.
like let's get us through this, and that's what makes Dewey so lovable and awesome because he does find a way to get him through that everything. And even though he seems like a bitch and isn't going to get it done, he finds a way to get it done. It's like that lovable loser is getting mainframe.
he finds a way to
does
start getting it done, and then somebody else has to finish the job because he gets fucked up in the process.
Oh yeah.
Every time, never fails.
Yeah.
Anytime Dewey's on his, I'm on my way. I'm like, you're about to get fucked up, dude.
Yeah, but that's what's great about it. It's not your typical stereotype. It's a different approach, and like I think a lot of people like they're like, oh, that's a badass. I'd like to be him. But Dewey, it's like man, I kind of am like Dewey. Like if I was in this situation, not saying me specifically, but a lot of people can like relate to that. Like I would be fucking Dewey in this situation. But I'm glad I have somebody to represent kind of the characteristics I would probably have in the situation rather than going with the same old character we've seen 100 times. I think that's the charm to Dewey, and David Arquette, I think, does bring a real something to that. And it must be a hard scenario being Sydney and wanting to believe your boyfriend, but you just fucking can't, dude. Like, there's no way. He's like, you know me. Like, the police. Like, how? Fuck, that would suck.
So you kind of said something about how does he drop his phone when he goes in the room. Do you ever think that he did that on purpose so that he is arrested so that
That's
Matthew
exactly-
Lillard can
Yeah.
make the call? And
Yeah.
He says that.
he's
He
in
says that in
prison,
the end.
so- does he? Okay, I
Yeah,
missed
he
that.
sets it. He sets it.
He
up
set the
type
whole
of
thing
deal.
up to make him look like the least suspect.
Suspect,
Yeah,
okay.
because and plus a murder happens while he's in custody, which leads Sydney to be like, "Oh my God, you're not the killer."
Oh yeah,
No.
dude. And how about Gail flying up on Sydney and telling her she'd send her a copy of her book was really out of line, dude.
It was a bitch
Is this
move.
where she gets punched?
Yeah, I was so
Yeah, I
glad
love-
she popped her, dude. I was
Which
like,
she does
fuck
that.
Yeah.
She's got a nice right hand. Sydney does.
Yeah, she seems so innocent, dude. But again, when she's like tempted, she's like,
When you
"Fuck
back her in the
then."
corner,
It's
she's
over,
swinging.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Sydney gets a call from the killer, so it's not Billy? Question mark?
What?
What is going on here? And we first hear of Cotton Weary, the supposed killer of Marine.
Well, he's in prison
Yeah.
And Sydney put him there.
and Sydney put him there
Yeah.
because he supposedly is the one that killed Maureen.
Exactly. And that's the big reason, if somehow you haven't seen these movies, why Sydney was pissed at Gale over the whole book situation. It was refreshing to at least hear that Gale believed that Cotton was actually innocent. And
Yeah.
She wasn't just writing
Yes.
for money only. Like, you know, like at first you're like, this greedy bitch. But there's a few moments there where you're like, oh, this bitch, she like really believes this. I thought that really helped her character, that her intentions were actually pure. Sid sees Billy for the first time since being wrongfully accused, and he's a prick.
An insensitive dick. That's
Yeah,
what
just,
I wrote down.
yeah, just flat out, like just talking like, man, like my mom and dad
Yeah.
broke up too and went away. You just got to get over it. She's like, what?
He should have been punched too.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I would have laughed. So it would almost have been like, okay, this is a little much. She just punches every person in this movie. At the same time, I probably would have cheered it on. Like, that's right, bitch. Get after it. Do not fuck with Sidney Prescott. And we got that implication over the rest of these movies, anyways. I think the Fonz maybe went a little far with the insults on the kids pranking the school, the principal. If you don't know.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, they were pranking
Henry
hard.
Winkler.
Playing around.
But he's literally talking about like, y'all should be the ones that got it or whatever. I was like, Jesus Christ, man! Like, are you the killer? Like, holy fuck!
That's the thing, you never know.
I mean,
It
I
could be anybody.
respected it because it was like some gangster shit. Like for like kids need to fucking learn. But at the same time, I'm like, that is. Don't let parents find out about this. How about Sydney overhearing those bitches
Girls in
from
the
the
bathroom?
stall, dude?
Yeah, I think that gives a good like sense of like high school or whatever. Just kids being mean,
Yeah.
insensitive.
Oh yeah. At least the other girl was like, "Oh my god," I don't remember her name. Like, Deborah, you bitch. Like what are you trying? And she was just kept going. Like, I don't give a fuck. And then Sydney comes out of the stall like. She does that to like every person. It's like, what is this movie, dude?
It almost would have worked like for the Scream
Yeah,
movie
these
though.
scenes, it would have been like a little much, but it's funny to think about. Like, she's literally punched 3 people in the face in like 20 minutes. It's like, good lord, do not talk shit to this woman. Yeah, dude, Dewey and Gale finally formally meet. Did anyone expect them to actually be a thing
Nope.
when this started? Did anybody see this shit coming?
Nope.
That's kind of why it works, though. It's like the old opposites attract ordeal.
It's just one of those that doesn't make sense, but it does. Like, if you know the characters, it makes sense, but if you were to just see them in public, it'd be like, what? Like, one of those, like, why?
Which
Like,
is funny because they
how?
were married.
Yeah,
real
for
life.
what, like 2 of the movies, I think?
I think it
it
was
was 2 and 3, I think.
Yeah, 2 and 3, because I think they met on 1, and then
Yeah.
and then they were split in 4, which would explain some things that are problems with being 4. We'll get to that though. And gotta love Wes Craven playing Fred the janitor. That was like an awesome quick thing. Like, Fred, like not you, Fred, or whatever the fuck, and he's just like straight up in like a Freddy Krueger sweater. Loved it. That's the shit I do like. Watching Stu and Billy confront Randy at the video store is straight nostalgia now. Like, every time I see that scene, I'm
Yep.
like, damn, I miss that shit.
Dude,
it's
I
like
love
seeing
it.
your friends, like, what's up, man? What you written tonight?
Yes.
And you just talk shit like in high school. You feel like you're on top of the world, dude.
This is where we get introduced to Randy, right? I'm pretty sure.
You met him at
no,
the
you
like
met
water
him
fountain or
before.
whatever.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe
that's right.
a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
scenes.
Okay.
You do get like a good.
Yeah.
This might be his first like.
But this is where you
real
get to
chance
know
you meet
Randy.
him.
Yeah, like, no-
I love the.
Cinephile.
Well, they did talk about it, his character at the fountain, because that was when they were questioning who they were, and they kind of implied, they were like, well, you're not even implied, they were like on the nose, like, well, you're the big horror movie fan.
Yeah,
and
that's
they
right,
went into
yeah.
all that. You worked at the fucking video store, and then we see him there, and I love like Stu and Billy's like interaction right there, especially when you know the outcome. The way like Stu, like Billy's like, well, what if it's fucking you? And then Stu's like leaning on his back, like staring. Like, that's such a good like moment, dude. Fucking love that shit. And I gotta be honest, man. Like me as a person, like I'm so Jamie Kennedy in these movies. Just like
That's how I feel like I'd be.
less nerdy and like more masculine, I guess. But like this motherfucker is like straight up me. Like this would be me if I'm in this situation at every movie. I would be that guy. Like I'd be like, have you seen this slasher movie? These are the rules. Like I could do this. Like this is exactly what I would do. Everything he says is exactly me in this situation. His character would be me in these movies. Like I've never related to a character more in terms of like what he would bring to the bunch, like breaking shit down. Like it's crazy. Even more so like later on in the movie. I love them bringing up the town that dreaded sundown.
Yes.
I was
Yeah.
like, yeah,
This is the first time I noticed that.
Yeah, dude, looks very like Town Dread Sundown. And even Dewey's like, he adds for a little extra. He's like, is that the one with the sackhead killer and all that? Yeah, I got that over there somewhere. That is just like one of the best like old school 70s like slasher movies based on a true story. Has that like rare, grainy, almost like a documentary style filmed feel. It's really cool that they brought that up. I like how when Sydney and Tatum are at the store, you can see Ghostface in the reflections, as if you can just run around a grocery and fool Ghostface, get up, and not get caught. Like, he's literally, like, in the back of the grocery in the reflection, like, ooh, like, oh, there he is. But you're like, dude, he's in a fucking Kroger or, like, even a gas station. Like,
Publix.
with a knot, like, ooh, like, that made no sense. But again, Scream can always get away with this kind of stuff because it's like, well, fuck, they're making fun. They could be making fun of that shit.
I'm so curious to this fifth one, yo. Like,
Me too.
I cannot wait to see what they do
Oh
with
yeah,
it.
we'll probably dive not deep into that, but like that. I'll just spoil that. I think I even had that as a question. Like, what do y'all think the fifth one's gonna bring? So we'll touch on that a little bit.
That's a good question.
So now it appears that Sydney's dad is definitely responsible. All the pieces are aligning. Yeah, not falling for that shit. Never was. It was too on the fucking nose. We then head to the final party. They really get everything they possibly can out of this setting and stretch run. Like they just fucking nail it. I dig Stu's like Hugh Hefner-esque robe he's rocking, dude. Stu acts as if he's like stopping the party and says he's kidding, have a good time. Or Dewey, I should say. I had Stewie wrote down for some reason. Yeah, I was like, why is there a Y? I'll just get rid of that and say what it's supposed to say. But it was supposed to say Dewey. Dewey acts as if he's like stopping the party and says he's kidding, have a good time. These are the cops I needed as a teen, bro. Like, I love that. How he's just like, all right, everybody, you're not old enough. He's like, I'm just kidding. Have a good time. Seriously, guys. Kill it. Because you have, like, he's like 26, I think, is what they said in this movie. That's cool that he's like, you know, you're my younger sister's friends. Fuck yeah, to stay in a safe spot. I don't know why, but that always makes me chuckle a little bit. And I always love Tatum's garage scene with the killer. Yeah. That's fucking dope.
Yep.
So dope.
It sucks for her, though.
And she fights, dude, too.
She does.
Chucking them beer bottles and shit. She's like, oh, don't hurt me, Mr. Killer. And he's just like, I love the way he acts. He's like, what, is this the part where you, like, kill me or something? He's just like,
yeah.
Like the way he does it. I remember I was walking to the kitchen while the scene was on, and I always get giddy with that. I was like, yes, fuck yeah. I was like looking through that little space I had from the kitchen to the living room, like filling up a drink. I was like, yes, I love this scene. And the whole fucking scene, dude. Like the way that ends. One thing I will say about the Scream movies is the kills are kind of bland, but this is one of the better ones. Because like most of the kills in the Scream movies, you're like, stab with a knife, stab with a knife, stab with a knife, stab with a knife. They don't really get too creative.
That's who his character is, though.
Yeah, I know, but like most slashers, they figure out something to spice it up. And this was like a scene where they did do that. And that you got her in the fucking, for people
Cat
that
door,
haven't
dog
seen
door,
it, yeah,
whatever.
trying to crawl out, and he's just like he's
Open.
so casual about it. He's just like, lifts it up, and she's like, oh no, like she's realizing like this is not good. And she just gets fucking crushed. And he even is like, kind of like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna go inside now. Which is wild when you like go back and watch it. You can pinpoint like who's doing what, like which one, like was that Stu or Billy? Like every time I watch these now, I'm like, that's definitely Billy because Stu's in there and he's not there yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a few times in these movies where they don't let you know who's killing who. Like, and I kind of like that ambiguity of it, where it's like,
well, you know who killed her, right?
who's that? Killed who?
Who were we just
Tatum.
talking about? Tatum. Yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't Stu.
and it wasn't Billy.
Yeah, this is the twist, right? It's
was
the person
Gale.
from the third movie. No, it's definitely Billy, and that touches on something that I literally was about to just what I was touching on like in the beginning of the movie. I think this would be like my next note. If not, it's here in a couple notes. I like when Billy pops up as Sydney is leaving. Yeah, this is it. He looks at Stu and raises his eyebrows, almost to say like, "Here we go. Like here comes the rest of the night." Or probably even more likely, the killing of Tatum is complete. Because he like comes around and he's just like Stu's like looking at him like this, and Billy like he's like, "Oh hey Sid," and he like looks almost kind of like sweaty-ish, and he just looks at Stu and he literally goes like, he does that.
I didn't notice that.
That's clearly a tip off. He's looking at Stu. He's not like if you're just watching it, that's just like, "Oh hey Stu," but you can tell like that's definitely like, "Hey,
Sign language
it's
for
done.
something more.
Like it's done." Or it's got to either be that or he's like, "You ready to go? It's go time. We're doing this right now." But it's got to be Tatum. I think it's him letting him know, like, I took care of her. Sydney and Billy are about to get it on finally.
Mm-hmm.
Sydney even brings up making a good porno. That inner Maureen Prescott just coming out, dude. Why? I'm not going to go there yet. Love that they're watching the Bob pinned to the wall scene in Halloween. That's just so dope where he stabs him against there. And Jamie Kennedy then explaining the rules.
Yes, dude.
Yep.
It's like one of my favorite scenes in this movie.
Yeah, the
It's
whole
just him
franchise, dude. And
talking
that,
about the
again,
rules.
this is something like I would do. I'm like, look, this is how this is gonna play. And everybody's like, boo, no, we gotta have sex. I'm like, not if you want to fucking live,
Yeah.
bro. You gotta know how this
And then
works.
Gail had set a camera in the living room,
Yes.
recording it, and her cameraman's out in the van watching it, but there's like a
30
30-second delay or whatever, which
Yeah, that came
comes into play. You knew it was going to.
Yeah. And that comes up real soon. A bunch of kids flee the party and almost hit Dewey and Gale. Like, what the fuck?
Which
dude?
so they left to go see their principal hung from the goalpost.
Excited about it.
Let's go!
I'm
Fuck-
pulling him down.
Yeah, like, fuck Halloween. This is the real deal. Then the killer bursts in and kills Billy, and the chase is on. Da 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 da. Sydney has to go to the roof. She is pushed off, but luckily lands on a boat cover over a boat. Very lucky, lady. Love Randy telling Jamie Lee Curtis to turn around as he himself needs to look behind him. As he's about to say,
love that.
and that literally that's me. Like when I watch Halloween, I do what he does there. I'm like, turn
around,
on."
bitch.
No, it's like how he is because like I've done it so many times. I'm like, turn around, Jamie. Turn around. What are you doing, Lori? I'm like, dude, this motherfucker is being like made over. And then I love the chase that starts in like the news van and ends up in the car where the killer keeps like hitting the unlock button, and that's kind of what you're touching on. The guy, forget his name, the guy that follows around Gail and films her, where they notice the delay, gets his throat slit as he opens the door.
Yes.
And that leads to that scene where the killer, like, I just love how the killer pops up when she's in the car and he's just like got the keys and he's like, and she's got to go like bop, 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 like a couple times. And now I know where she thinks she's good. And the way the camera is, you just see the fucking back raise up. I'm like, yes. And he could have killed her so many times. He just wanted to grab her and fuck with her, dude.
That's another thing about Sydney too, though. Is dude, she could have gotten killed
Oh.
numerous times in these movies.
She's slippery, man. She
And
lathers
this-
up in that baby oil every day.
Has to be
to.
something.
And this next scene, this is one of my favorites. And this whole ending is just so fucking great. But this fallen scene, I've always loved it. Like where Randy and Stu are both like pleading for their life. And he's like,
Yes.
he's fucking crazy.
Oh,
Like,
at
no,
the door.
Sydney, you gotta trust me. He's like, no, he's gone insane. He's like, Sydney, give me the gun. And then she's just like, fuck you both. And just slams the door
don't
in
blame
their
her.
face, dude. And here's the big thing, too. You got to feel bad for Randy. He gets stabbed, beat with the phone by Gale when he's asking for help, and then locked out with one of the killers. Then when he finally gets in, he's immediately shot. And he's just like, geez, like, what a roller coaster. He's like watching his favorite movie, like, oh, I'm stabbed. Someone help. Oh. He's just like limping towards, oh, Sydney, thank God. No, he's going to kill me. All right, I'm in the house. It's like, I'm just going to die now. It's just not happening for me, dude. Fucking amazing. And then by Billy, it's Billy and Stu, dude. Billy and fucking Stu.
This
What
is where
the
Stu
fuck?
shows his
Knew.
brightest. Stu's
He
personality
murders
at the end of this
it.
is
and most
perfect.
of it was improv.
Was it?
Yes.
Really?
They're like, yeah, I'll get to that. I know one scene for a fact. And like, I love how like they're just getting off on this whole like killer thing. And
Loving
like,
it.
What's great is like Billy, you know, talking to her, and then she runs like away, and Stu's like the way he's looking at Billy, like we're doing, and she just runs right into him. And he's like, Stu, she's like, Stu, and he's just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
looks at it, it's like surprise, Sydney. And Stu is just like Billy's like all business, and Stu's just like, you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
Like he's just fucking like into it, dude. And they reveal they killed Maureen. Now we'll get to more on that in future movies, and it's due to her causing Billy's parents to split. Stu and Billy reveal their motives and start stabbing each other to create what is it? Alibi, basically. And their motives, of course, is like, you know, the whole what is it in this one? The movies or whatever. I'm trying to think. I'm just like on the spot.
Movies made you crazy.
Yeah, is that exactly what it is? I know what this is. That's just because I'm on the spot and I didn't write it out and I felt the need to cover it. But yeah, basically, well, that's what it was. I'm tripping. I just need a second to gather my thoughts. They're framing the dad. They got to kill everybody, and then they're fucking basically at the end. That's how the stabbing starts. They're gonna get beat up just enough to be the survivors and all that cool shit. Every movie needs a good twist. Like they're fucking in it. It's
Do you
cool.
imagine like knowing I've got to be stabbed? Like Brandon, you have to stab
Yeah,
me with
and they're
this
all like,
steak
"Oh,
knife.
my
In
God."
just the right spot,
Like
too.
I could,
And it's funny the way they do it too. And he's like, he stabs him. He's like, oh, it was deep, Billy. And then like out of nowhere, he's like, yeah, just watch like the ribs. He's like, make sure you get it off to the side. And he goes like, and he's like, God, fuck. And he turns around. He's like, it got me good. And he's like, hang on, one more again. He's like, all right, man, just don't do it. And he's like screaming at Sydney while he's doing it. And fucking Matthew Lillard, dude, he's like, take it easy, I'm feeling all woozy.
Real woozy over here.
Fucking love it, dude. Like this, from this point, like Lillard is like 11 out of 10
A
from this
plus.
point of the wooziness and the lines he says when he's just basically like bleeding out, dude. And Gail helps break things up just enough to let Sydney get freed. Like, and dude, she's just fucking with him like left and right. Like, I love even Stu's reaction. Then he's like, then he turns around. He's like, Billy. He's like, Billy, man, we have a problem. He's like, what? She's like, she's fucking gone, man. He's like, I think I'm fucking dying, man. He's like, he's got to sit down. Like, Stu's just struggling, dude. And as he's like on the other, like, they fucking out of nowhere, like Billy throws him the phone. Like this was an improvised line when he's like, "You hit me with the phone, dick." That was totally improvised, dude. And the whole like thing where he talks, he's like, "Hey, Sydney," and he's just like, she's like, "And what's like?" Billy's got an excuse. What's your excuse? He's like, "Peer pressure. I'm very fragile," or something like that. And then the way he says, like, "Did you really call the cops?" And he's like, "You bet your ass it is." He's like, "My mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me." It's so fucking dope, dude. And it's only fitting Sydney like fried Stu's mind with the TV, dude. Just like I swear when I was a kid, dude, I loved Matthew Lillard so much in this movie. I was like, please let him live somehow. Like even to watch this
That would've
movie
been
this
cool.
day, I'm like, come on, like Billy, like kill him, whatever. He's great for like a one-off movie, but Stu is just like, I don't know. He couldn't really be an intimidating killer after this. So I don't even know how they'd use him. Maybe like if he was like locked away in like prison and they had to have like a scene where they talked to him, maybe they could do something with that. I don't know how they'd utilize him, but like he was just so magnetic and great that like it was like keep this guy somehow, dude. And damn. And then what's funny again about Randy is up and he's back down again. Like immediately taken down again. Randy can't catch a break. Gail finishes off Billy, or did she? I love the self-awareness of saying the killers always come back,
Yes.
and he actually does like, bah! That's literally all he does.
Come
like,
back for one more scare.
Oh yeah, dude. And nice, fitting, quick ending after, you know. I mean, that's just like I feel like that's how you should do it after that massacre. The song in the credits is mad nostalgia, dude. Like Stay Kids Forever, a whisper to a scream. Like I fucking love that song. And it's not even that great of a song, but it's just, I've been listening to that song my whole life, and I could hear that on the radio, and that's all you could think of immediately. Like, Scream soundtrack. Yeah. First one is an undeniable classic. Then we move on to the asshole portion of the body. Yeah, Scream 2, guys. I like how they make quick work of being self-aware all over again.
Yep.
As Jada Pinkett Smith and Omar Epps are going to see Stab, the new movie that's based on the first movie, with ghost faces littered all over the theater
They were
crowd.
literally handing them out.
Yeah.
as people were walking into
Yeah.
the movie theater.
Which I
They
think
would
just
never do that now.
raises the intensity and stakes. Like who
yeah.
is one of these like the
Is
real
gonna be,
Ghostface?
yeah.
Like it makes it way more intense.
Yeah, and another solid opening in general. Definitely not the first one, but that's like an all-timer. But love their willingness to kill off big names from the word go in these flicks. Jada Pinkett was on like the front cover. You know, you thought maybe she would just be going to the movies and she'd make it out and then she'd be friends with everybody. Nope, she gone.
Yep. But in a dope ass way too.
Oh
though.
yeah, and you know how many people I've seen say they would notice Jada's character getting stabbed and it
But
wouldn't
would
have
you,
went
though?
down that way. I completely disagree. I feel like if you think that, you're an idiot, like legitimately an idiot.
it's-
If this isn't like going to see a horror movie, like a regular horror movie. When you're in a regular horror movie, like if we were seeing fucking Don't Breathe and somebody got stabbed and they're like, you'd be like, okay. But this isn't just like a horror movie. It's a horror movie. Everybody's dressed up.
It's like a
So
celebration.
You got that.
People
and
are
it's-
running around
yeah,
the
Yeah.
fucking
it's
theater.
exactly a good example. They always re-show like Rocky Horror Picture Show, like every year, and at those they're literally yelling shit out. It's a different environment. It's not a normal theater with people like joking around, faking stabbing each other, and they're running around.
Yep.
You're just thinking that's a part of the game. You're not gonna fucking think that. And I've seen multiple people say this. I'm like, how do you get that from this?
No.
This is not a normal theater experience. Everybody's interacting, doing things, acting out like they're killing people. Everybody's in scream masks. And then, like, it's such an environment like that. Even if she got in the middle of the stage, I'd be like, is this a part of it? Are they, like, planning this out? But even then, everybody was like, hold on, this is real. I think that's about the time they would legitimately notice, oh, shit, like, this isn't joking, is it? Like, this bitch is really stabbed in front of our movie.
That
Stab.
scream she lets off.
Yeah.
But then, like the title, every time I get so excited every time the title hits because it's so in your face. It's just you got Scream and then you got the /2 for this one, and
Yeah, I mean, it's on
Like-
TV, Rodney. Of course it'll be in your
oh, this
face.
is on TV.
That's right. You don't
Oh
have a TV.
shit!
I don't know how you have been watching these, dude. Voodoo. I don't know what that means. I'm too old school.
Voodoo.
Who knows what they watch that shit on? They watch it with voodoo, actually. Voodoo tricks. I love the shorter hair look on Neve Campbell. I really did. Thought she looked doper in this movie. Motherfuckers are still pranking her, though, but you got to appreciate her attitude about it. She's just kind of shrugging it off, you know, like that's done. I'm not letting this haunt me. I ain't got no PTSD up in this bitch about it. I like the movie versus reality conversation at the school that also led to sequel talk.
Yep. Sequels always suck.
Yeah, that was great. And of course, they brought out some of the best sequels of all time, but it was perfect because, I mean, it goes perfect with the movie, dude. Like, this is a sequel, self-awareness. They're nailing that down perfectly again. Really nice to see Oliphant joining the cast.
Yes.
That is dope. Very young Timothy Oliphant. Also nice to see Sid and Randy catch up. I enjoyed that. Just getting some camaraderie from the first movie. Courtney Cox, what the fuck is going on here? Also looking pretty sexy with the shorter hair too. I think she was a bang up job in this one. We'll
Agreed.
get to the third one. Good God, what did they do to that poor lady? Nice to see Rebecca Gayheart in here too. This is a huge one. She knows something about being a killer from urban legend fame.
I love
Yeah.
Urban Legend.
Yeah, she's the killer in Urban Legend, so it's just cool seeing her walk around in a fucking Scream movie. Like, is she the fucking killer? Oh my gosh, who knows? Crazy to see all of these lead characters survive, though, their wounds from the first film. Like, it's just like every one of these dudes just lived through this somehow, and that continues. It's like, how do they keep living? I mean, I'm happy to see Gail, Dewey, and Randy, but damn, dude, like, what is going on here? Can't believe Gail really brought Cotton Weary face to face with Sydney, though.
No
Once
shit.
again, Sydney pops her, dude. God damn. Gail?
Completely deserved.
Yeah, like Gail's probably like, yep, probably deserve that one too. Man, when Gail and Dewey meet again, you can just tell that they are oddly somehow meant for each other. You're like, this is just right.
Yeah.
Love in the air.
Oh yeah, and it probably was like, oh yeah, we're married in real life, so it's easy to play this off. We finally get to have our first legit cat and mouse phone call, and it's a pretty good one with Sarah Michelle Gellar. Kind of wish we got a little more from her, because she's always solid. Mr. Buffy, Mrs. Buffy, the Vampire Slayer herself. Then Ghostface is after Sydney for the first time. A brief encounter, but enough to all but confirm that Sydney is in serious fucking danger.
Yes, she is.
So, any thoughts that this could be happening all over again? Could it be Sydney's boyfriend all over again?
No
Are we
way.
doing this O'Connell shit? Is like Jerry O'Connell the killer?
Ooh.
I mean, what were y'all thinking?
I never thought he
You're
was a
just, you're
killer.
just like they just have to.
I
make it
just
seem
because
like
in my mind
too
I'm just
goofy.
like, you can't really do that and get away with it.
But maybe that's why they do it, because they're knowing that you know
Yeah,
they're
but
not going to do that.
That's the thing, is like that would be almost too self-aware. It wouldn't work just because
it's too on
like
the nose.
2 movies in a row, the boyfriend being the killer, like that would be.
It'd be funny if
it
they
would-
did that in all 4 movies. And
Oh my
And every
God.
time you're like, they wouldn't do that again. So it's definitely not him.
Exciting.
And it's like they got me all 4 times. I was like, there's no way.
The
'cause
5th
it's too
one comes
automatic.
out, and it's like
You're
no,
like
no.
not falling for that. Like it's the fucking boyfriend again. You got to be kidding me. The 6th one comes out. You're like, all right, it's the boyfriend. We know this. We've been fooled 5 times that it was too obvious, and then it's not. It's like,
Yeah.
what is going on? I'm just not good at guessing this movie, and it's right in front of my face, over and over again. The I think I love you scene, went full on, TV show Glee on our ass. Like I'll never get used to seeing Luke Wilson playing Loomis either in Stab. That thing was, it's just
It's so
strange.
weird,
I don't
dude.
like it.
It's so weird.
It weirds me the fuck out.
And he's so like stupid.
Yeah, he's like, he's so like I'm in a garage band. I don't know, and I smoke weed all day. I love how Randy lays out all the rules again. But this time for sequels.
Yes.
Again, I respect it. Every time he's talking, I'm like, yep.
Gotta turn it up.
You're making me proud here because you're saying everything exactly right, and the references are off the fucking charts. Like, I know y'all love it, but I feel like if y'all were, like, deep into, like, slasher lore like I am, it would go up even another notch. 'cause
It
there's
goes
just
up a
so many-
lot for me. It's just like the detail he gives about it. It's
Yeah.
like I'd be like, I'm staying with this guy.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving his side.
And then imagine, like, knowing, like, every single reference he gives, too. It's like, holy shit. Like, oh, fuck, yeah. Love that movie, love that movie, love that movie. Like, damn. Yeah, like, it sounds like he knows what he's talking about, but I can also, like, confirm, like, this dude's saying the exact right fucking thing. I like how Gail's new cameraman, realizing that her last cameraman had been murdered, he was like, fuck this. Like,
Love
what
the
is it?
cameraman in this.
Yeah, the
he's
cameraman
good.
is funny as shit.
hilarious.
For sure. The Scream Mask shows up during Sid's performance in the theater. I almost said the theater. I'm like, that's not right. In the theater, and she's not trusting her boy toy again. But can you really blame her?
Nope.
Look at all this rhyming.
Not
Dude.
at all.
Didn't even mean to.
Can't even blame her.
Sucks to be you, nerd. Kind of unceremonious how Randy was killed, though.
Yeah.
Like, love the deeper cut shout out slasher movies he called out before he was off, though. Like right before he was yelling out just some bangers of slasher movies. And I was like, yes. And I was like, no. And it kind of felt, it did, though. It felt unceremonious. It didn't feel like personal enough. It was kind of just like, damn it, like off screen. Like to the point where you're kind of like, he's not really dead, though. We've seen the
Yeah.
wounds happen. And you're like, oh, man, I guess he's gone. Oh, well, there goes Randy. It wasn't enough for me. Yeah, and things are acting up at the library, and Sydney runs into Cotton, and he seems very, like, pressing. Like, he's just fucking, like, he's
He
like
wants
almost
that.
like he's not punching her, but he's, like, outlining her. Like, I'm just saying, Sydney.
He wants that
You
interview,
know what I mean?
man.
It's like, I will fuck up your aura right here in this fucking library. Do not test me. I like the moment when Gail seems genuinely interested in finding the killer with Dewey. This kind of marked the movie picking up again. There was a pretty big lull in there for me, like right in that little section, however long that was. It was like a 20-minute stretch where I was like, this isn't bad, but I'm kind of like losing steam here with this one. The first one didn't really have that for me. Poor Dewey was about to get him some, but just ended up with a Gale snail trail when they went to go. That's a nice rhyme right there. A Gale snail trail when they went to go get that tape. And she's like, that's not my tape. And then as the killer arrives on the scene and is tracking Gale down as Dewey is tagging along behind. Dewey then appears to have been killed again on the other side of that fucking mirror trying to get Gale's attention. And
Like
Gale,
soundproof.
yeah,
fucking-
dude, she can only watch helplessly from the other side of the glasses. He's just getting fucking
Like
shanked.
dude, he gets fucked up in that
And
too.
yeah, like all
it's-
these movies, he gets.
Yeah, he
like, I'm like,
does.
he's murdered. There's no. I'm like, this motherfucker's.
I think
I think that kind of goes with the character though too, of like how he's not. Doesn't seem like the invisible guy. He's like that goofy, lovable loser, but it's like they make him the invincible guy.
Yeah.
I think that's like another good.
I
pick
think
up when you
2
think of
does
it.
it like the best. Like the way that he gets stabbed and shit is
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, dude, he's got to die for
Yeah.
this. Like there's
It's more
no
passion to
Yeah.
it too, like because you're like he's right there and I can't fucking do.
and he gets
anything.
stabbed like multiple
Yeah,
times
like
too.
right in the fucking like kidney, dude.
But
Oh,
we
my
find
God.
out.
Jesus, dude. Woo! Sydney's boyfriend picked the wrong time to be in a fraternity, though, dude. Just tied up and served on a silver platter, dude. Put on that cross. Like,
You don't give your
fuck,
fucking letters away, man.
God, dude,
Yeah,
you got to
that's
know how to
bad news.
act in college. I absolutely love the cop scene with Ghostface when Sydney and Haley or Hallie in the back seat, like when
Oh
they
yeah,
take her.
yeah.
Like that is
That's
like
such
that's the
an
most.
intense scene.
That is the
dude.
most tension-filled scene, bar none, in this whole movie.
It's
what
like-
like the layers of like, all right, just get out. It's like we can't get out. Then it's like, all right, break this down or whatever. It's like, all right, we're pressed up against something. Then it's like, fuck, we got to climb over 'em.
the killer.
And then the door's not opening over there at first either. It's like, fuck.
What gets me is the horn, because the whole time you're like, okay, please stay away from that horn. Don't honk the horn. Don't honk the fuck. And then she honks the horn.
Dude, it's
like,
horrible because you
and-
can't even see his eyes. You don't know if he's like looking
Yeah,
at you
if
or
he's just-
what. He's just waiting to go like that. I couldn't do it, dude. I just be like, I guess I'm just chilling here with Ghostface, and he can't really get in the back because we got this metal cage, and if he tries to, we'll be fucking ready
Yep.
with that right hook.
Yeah.
Try me, motherfucker. Just punches him. That killer of Ghostface is just dead. It's like, Sydney, where you get that? Like, put a lot of Mike Tyson punch out. Yeah, that
Look.
is intense. That whole fucking scene, dude. I remember being a kid, like I'd always like rewind that scene. I'm like, this is so fucking dope. Fucking.
I
love this
always
shit.
think that the black chick, and I don't know, I've seen these so many times, but I always, like, in my head, remember the black chick getting killed in the car
Really?
as she's like trying to
Climbing
sneak
out.
out of it. Yeah, and I don't know why, because every time I get surprised, I'm like, oh yeah, she does. Yeah,
I always remember the way it's done in the alley because it's so out of nowhere. Because it sticks with me. Her being like, I've got to know, I got to see, he'll be gone. Which in a way she kind of gets her killed, but you also
oh, she
kinda-
100%.
yeah
gets her
yeah
killed.
but you understand like her motivations. Like I got to fucking see who it is. I can't fucking do this.
No, I
And
get
that-
it.
yeah,
It's
that's
part of like the double tap rule.
Yeah, that sticks with me. That's why I never think about her getting in the car because it sticks with me so much when she goes back and it's just like, "What?" And he's not there, and she just looks back like he's gone. She's like, what? Boom, done.
She
Love
just
that
wanted to
about it.
leave.
It's like,
The chick
come
just wanted to
on.
go. Yeah.
Black people don't do good in these situations. I'm trying to retreat here. And then it's like, fuck, you got me killed. Yeah. Then Gail runs into Cotton Weary with bloodied hands. Could Cotton really be a killer this whole time after all? What say you, audience and peeps?
Has to be Cotton. Has to be.
It has to be the boyfriend.
I love how I
Cotton.
love watching these with Jamie. She's like, "Oh, that's a good." Because I think she's only seen the first one until we watched them this week, and she's like, "Oh, that's the killer." And if she asked me like when we watch movies like about like further on into the movie like spoiler kind of shit,
Yeah.
I just say I don't know, I haven't seen it. And I said that more times in these Scream movies than I have any other movie with her, because she just wanted to know who the killers were. And
It
I'm like,
bothers
"Oh."
the fuck out. I'm like, just wait.
Why?
Yeah.
It'll be
God,
answered.
The answer is
Yeah.
coming. Stop asking me questions. All women do that.
I swear they do.
Yeah, and little kids, women and little kids. Then we were in. It's probably because they have similar, minds.
Attention spans.
Yeah, that too. Damn women and kids, whatever. Then we were in for this.
Humans.
Then we were in for this one's final showdown back at the old theater. Oliphant as the killer.
What?
I dig it.
But
I
he has
love
such good dance moves.
Yeah,
You
I
see him
know, dude.
rocking the disco in the cafeteria?
Amaze balls, dude. But I love the fact that they made him the killer.
Yeah, I do too. Even though it was like highly like predictable, I still love it.
Yeah, it was cool as fuck. I kind of wish he like was more of like the brains behind the operation.
No, with what we find out next, I I can't agree with that. I think
No, it wouldn't have
it
worked.
worked out perfect the way they did it.
The way it's structured and who comes in, it wouldn't have made sense. But maybe if he was just like, "This is my fucking show," he was just like, "Damn, wasn't expecting that." Maybe it would have worked. But yeah, but I mean, like, if we just going in, just picturing Oliphant as like the main guy, like not having an ending in place yet on the reveal.
This is the one where it's Oliphant does the movies
Yeah.
are why
Yeah.
I did this, and like pleading crazy pretty much because of movies,
Oh yeah.
which is actually it hasn't, and he calls it in the movie too. He's like never been done before, and I was sitting there, I was like, I don't think anybody has ever like killed somebody and said it's
Well,
because of the movies.
You got, and I'm just playing. Yeah, and I like how he plays a fucked up move on Sydney, play with her emotions,
Yeah.
making her question if Derek was the killer. He's like, "It's over now, Derek. You can cut the act. Like it's all good." And Sydney really gets like wrecked mentally in this franchise in general, like trying to make decisions that she always pays for it every time it seems like, but it only makes her stronger. I love when Mickey is talking about how Billy got it right, and Sydney is like, "Yeah, but you're forgetting one thing about Billy Loomis.
Yeah.
Fucking killed him."
Yes,
Just
it's so
bang.
hardcore.
Yeah, this is like the first two movies. These type of lines work so well. They were like okay in the next couple movies, but they felt like a little ran in the ground to me. That's another discussion. Then we find out that the other killer is Mrs. Loomis, and she kills Mickey. All she cares about is ending Mickey. Debbie Salt was all bullshit. What the fuck, man? What in the fuck? That's all I have.
What the fuck?
No, what in the fuck? Like many killers, when they want to add on a little extra emphasis to the conclusion of their master plan, Mrs. Loomis talks too fucking much, and Sydney gets away and is in not going to take shit final girl mode once again. As she cuts down the ropes, keeping the stage together with an axe, causing it to avalanche on Mrs. Loomis.
She gives no fucks at this point.
No, she's like, "What's that?" Loomis does manage to still get into prime position to kill Sydney, but Cotton Weary, of all people, breaks it up at gunpoint. Mrs. Loomis holds Sydney hostage. Also, I don't know if I even mentioned it or any of us did. Gale was shot and is like below
in the belly.
Yeah, below
Off the stage.
Yeah, like in the fog or whatever that was below the stage. Yeah, and then she offers Cotton a deal. Did any of you actually think Cotton was going to take said deal about, like, she's like, "Oh, I can hook you up with more screen time and like all this other shit." Weren't buying it, but he was acting like he was like maybe
He was definitely thinking.
I think
about
that
it.
was more of just like, I'm kind of pissed at you, Sydney, right now. So I'm gonna like at least I'm gonna drag this out a little bit to teach you a little lesson. But at the end of the day, I'm not a killer. Gail then pops out from below. I honestly had forgotten about her. I was like, "Oh shit, Gail!" I literally so much so I didn't even write it down. I caught myself. Dewey made it again, man, and I like that Sydney gave Cotton the hero interview. And of course,
yep.
I didn't even say like they fucking Gail popping out and shoot. I meant to add that part. Yeah, Mrs. Loomis, pow pow pow, done.
Mrs. Loomis was a great choice for like as a comeback for the ghost face.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that actress though. That's what ruins it for me.
I don't like. She definitely has crazy in her eyes.
Yeah.
she has crazy in her eyes
Isn't
for
that
sure.
the chick
But
from like Roseanne?
might be.
I think it is. Like every time I see her, I just picture Roseanne, and it just fucking throws it off for me. That's what I meant by Oliphant being like the main killer, not like the story and what happened, but like imagining him as like the mastermind instead of like this chick from Roseanne. If they could have wrote something out better, like maybe that's Billy's brother or something. I don't fucking know. Could have been some cool shit there. And then, yeah, I liked how they debate and switch with that too, where they have fucking Timothy Oliphant, Mickey, when they're just like the killer always comes back, and actually like surprise, and then he's the one that pops up like, it's like, oh shit, misdirection, good shit.
Yeah, she was on Roseanne.
Yeah, she was like one of the stars of Roseanne. She was like her best friend, I think. It fucks me up every time I watch it.
Solid ending.
Yep.
She was the voice of Andy's mom in Toy Story 2. And all the Toy Stories, actually.
Oh, nice.
I actually didn't know that.
Nice.
She's insignificant, though, on this plan. Scream 3. All right, that's Scream 3. We can just skip that one. No, I'm just playing. It becomes very clear at this point that someone important / big name is getting offed in the beginning of these movies. And who was that important character, guys?
Anna Paquin.
Correct. It's not correct, though. It was Cotton Weary. It was kind of a cool change.
Oh shit, that's never mind. Okay, yeah. I was thinking.
It was kind of a cool change of pace, though. Instead of being in immediate danger, the victim had to like race to the danger. I like that. I don't like Creed at all, but What If is a pretty solid track. Great soundtrack all around on this one. Very much so.
This is where they start doing the voices.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yes,
The
and-
caller had Cotton's voice, so his girlfriend or wife or whatever thought it was him.
Like,
I'm
oh,
talking.
come on, baby. You know I'm just joking around.
I think
That
that's
would be-
outstanding.
That
So
would
then
be
when he
torture.
actually got there, she was like, "Oh, you're the fucking killer," and he has no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And
No,
how
and she's still
infuriating.
swinging at him and fucking trying to kill him herself. Really.
Yeah, how infuriating would it be trying to help your girl Christine, but you can't get her to listen to you for nothing because Ghostface has basically framed you already. Like, snutting you. You're like, I'm trying to tell you. Then you're like, oh, behind you. Like I'm gonna fall for that. Like, please, bitch, I want you to stay alive. But in a nutshell, I like the impact of the opening in general. But I was actually looking forward to like an expanded role for Cotton going forward.
Nah. I'm glad they killed him.
Really?
Yeah.
I really like Cotton. Like the first movie, it's like you really just see like quick clips of him. The second one, I like how he came along at the end.
I like Cotton in the first movie. I did not like who he was
Really?
in the second movie.
Did
Yeah.
you like him in the second movie? Or you didn't like him? Actually,
I mean,
I
the
liked
third.
him in the-
I mean, the third.
I liked him in the second, but
You
I
didn't like
think
him in
it's
the third?
fitting for him to die in the third. Like I didn't mind.
no.
them often.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I
Overall,
just don't like
liked
his
it,
demeanor.
But I was curious to see like how his role would grow because you were like a little portion, and then there's kind of like this is Liev Schreiber, however you say his name.
Liev Schreiber.
Liev Schreiber. Liev Schreiber. And he kind of like grew into like an important character within that like core group. And I was curious to see like it was like a stepping stone. And it was kind of like, nope, nip in the bud. Worked, but I don't know. I want like an alternate universe to see what they could have done with Cotton a little more. Just me.
He died.
Yeah, that's what happened. The new Ghostface wanted to know where Sydney was. The answer looks like in the middle of fucking nowhere with a lot of alarms and locks under a fake name.
Yeah, she
Working
had
on
like
a hotline.
extra security. She had that gate. She had
Mm-hmm.
the like two
The
locks
extra
on her
lock,
door. The
yeah.
one all the way up at the top. She had the security system, and the smartest thing was a dog.
Yeah.
In a real life situation, I was thinking like get like 5 dogs, even if they're smaller dogs. Like they're gonna alarm you
Oh yeah.
if someone's
Depending on
outside
the
your
dog.
house.
Some dogs just curl up next to
But
the
yeah, if you have
Yeah.
5 of them, guarantee you one
least
of them's
one of 'em.
barking.
All 5 though. That'd be clutch, dude. Anyways, incoming, the scariest thing from all these movies. Courtney Cox atrocious bangs in this movie. It's one of the worst haircuts I've ever seen in my life. She looks like a poodle when her hair's down.
Have you looked at Rodney recently?
Oh yeah, my bangs are on
In
point.
movies, in real life, obviously.
This one, Scream 3, I think they brought more horror aspect than any of them. Like, there's more actual, like, horror elements in the third one than there is.
Ish.
Out of the 4.
Maybe consistent.
I don't believe you.
I don't know. This one feels more goofy to me because the movie within the movie is more like a constant reminder of every little, like, fucking reference. Whereas the first two, it was like horror, and there's little moments. And then there's more, like, the first movie, the intense scene in the beginning. The second movie, the intense scene in the car. This one didn't really have an intense scene to match that. So honestly, I think I'd probably go another direction with that.
Yeah.
But
Your
they're
opinion doesn't
filming Stab 3. That's in production.
Yes.
So where's Stab 2?
They skipped it.
It's what like Stab was on Scream 1, right?
2. Because Stab is about
Stab-
Scream.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm saying. The first Stab is about the first
Oh, okay, yeah,
movie.
yeah.
So Stab 2 was about the second one, but they didn't show anything on it.
I guess.
Because
I
they
don't
just
know.
they just jumped straight to Stab 3.
I honestly couldn't even remember if it
But
was
I think
Stab 3.
but I think
you're
Stab
right.
3 that they're producing was on the second one, wasn't it? On the actual second Scream movie. So what was Stab 2 about?
Let's see. I'd have to think about that because I'm on the spot.
Does it make sense when I'm
Yeah, well,
asking?
yeah, because it goes 1, 3, and then straight to 7 in the fourth one. So, yeah, they just kind of skipped a bunch of the stabs.
See, I couldn't even
But
remember.
I'm
it was
but I'm even
Stab
saying like
3.
what would
Or what
Stab
would
2 be
about?
about? Because the first Stab was about Scream 1.
Right.
Stab 3 was about
Scream 2.
So what would the second one been about?
It might just be a goof. I think.
Maybe.
What would it be? The in between of I don't know what it would be.
Not important. We don't need to spend
That's
too
got
much
me
time.
thinking.
But
I gotta be.
I got to pee too. So you want a sword fight, or you want me to wait till you get back?
Anyways, I'd have to think about that more. I might have. an
But
answer
you
by
get
the
a
end of
cameo.
this. Oh, dude, yeah, I was gonna say Jay and Silent
Jay and
Bob.
Silent Bob.
Dude, what's weird about that cameo is what feels like I've seen this movie 100 times. I literally forget it exists every single time I go in this movie. It surprises me every time. I'm like, oh yeah, Jay and Silent Bob, and I'll say that for the 100th fucking time. I love that they have Lance Henriksen in this. He's always a fucking boss. I oddly like following around the off-brand actor versions of our beloved cast.
Who's banging?
When Dewey first sees Gail, I wish he just would have been like, "What the fuck happened to your hair?" Just flat out.
Just call her right
said
out
it,
on her.
dude. Yeah, I actually had the Jay and Silent Bob thing right there. Well, we see even. Can you let them in? Because I don't know if you have a note on this. It should be Aida, I'm guessing, but she's not thinking because we're in the middle of a podcast. Well, we see even deeper into the psyche of Sydney. Kind of creepy having those visions of her mother and then Ghostface. Jenny McCarthy gets herself into a whole heap of trouble on set, dude. This whole scene was weird as fuck. It's just weird seeing these new actors like just playing with these props, but it oddly does work. I think, I really think it does. But it's just, I don't know, it's kind of hard to adjust to, like, looking at them as those characters as much as, like, I like it. It's like a love-hate relationship, I guess. So Gail is jealous as ever of Dewey. Like, she is just, like, all up in his shit, trying to stick with him every which way he goes. Like, she's following him to, like, the other Gail's house. It's the poodle hair. What's happening out there?
Doors opening, creaking, and shit like that.
Yeah, creepy while we're talking about this. You know, Sydney's heart dropped, though, when the killer called her on the hotline.
Shit.
Like, I've been found.
Dude, dude, I'd be terrified thinking I'm good and safe and hidden.
Yeah, it's like,
God. And
Wait.
he was so creepy about the way he was talking, too.
you got to think, though, like, is this somebody fucking playing a prank on me? But she just, like, went all in, like, yep, I'm caught. Damn it. All of a sudden, shit is popping off with all the actors in one place as well. They were all kind of cooped up at, where were they at? It was the actress Gail's house. Like, I mean, man, what's his name? Patrick Warburton, Stone.
Love it. I
he was
love his
solid in this
cameo.
movie. Well, he's talking shit to Dewey. Like, why don't you do this
Yes.
for
He's like,
professional?
I'm a celebrity bodyguard. I've done bodyguard for this person, this person, this person.
Yeah.
I was like, you tell him, dude.
And
You tell him.
Dewey's just not even entertained. He's like, yeah, sure, okay. Yeah, but then we're skipping ahead to where he got stabbed in the back.
Man.
That
Dude,
sucked.
and he didn't just get stabbed in the back. Like, he got stabbed in the back, but then he got shoved into a cabinet for the knife to go even further into his back,
Yeah,
which
that was cool.
made me
I like that
jump because it,
touch.
like, hurt me.
You felt it?
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, and then he limps over to everybody, and they're all like, "What's going on, man?
Must
What's
be
on?"
okay.
He's walking kind of weird. Yeah, Dewey's actor double apparently was given mercy. That was crazy because they all fucking run out because they're like, I love the trope. It's just like that means we need to go outside. We can't stay in the house because he says to not go outside, or vice versa. They all head out, and the one dude's like, I gotta fucking know, and it's like, cool, we'll be
'Cause,
given
yeah.
mercy.
He was
smell the gas.
faxing the
Gas.
script to him of how he was murdering him,
Yeah,
which was funny.
I gotta tell you right after that, dude, Dewey is so damn clumsy, man. Like he's fucking like shooting on that hill, falling down, all types of crazy shit. It's fucking crazy. how
He's an
fucking
idiot.
clumsy he
Dewey's a
is.
dummy. Dewey the dummy.
I love seeing Sydney reunite with Dewey and Gail, though. They're like a little fucking
It was
family.
emotional, yeah.
Like seeing them come together, like, God, I love these people. We get to meet Randy's sister. She has a video of Randy.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, it was so like unexpected. It's like, yes,
Yes.
Randy's somehow in here, dude.
And it's like, dude, it's like a 10-minute scene too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it.
Yeah, it's just like he made a pre-recorded video of more rules. Like, if you see this, that means I'm gone.
The end of the trilogy.
Yeah, which I love. He's like, and that means anybody can go, Sid,
Yeah.
even you.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, nobody died, so that could have been a lot more impactful. Gotta love the Carrie Fisher cameo too. I thought that was really fucking cool.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
She
talking about
claiming
Prince.
she's not Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, she's sitting there. It's like fucking Carrie Fisher, some bitch named Carrie Fisher got the Princess Leia role or some shit like that. Really like Sydney visiting the set and the chase scene that ensues, dude. When she's there, like what like a blast from the past, just like bad memories.
How would you
and shit.
feel about that? Like they built a set of your whole house, and then you know they're making a movie about the experience that you had
Yeah.
the first time around.
Yeah, and for the shit to break out, like I
Man.
could die here all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And I really like how she tricks him and like throws him and he falls through that door on like the bed. Which
That's-
if you know who the killer was, I was like looking this time more specifically for certain things. I'm like, when he falls on this bed, does he act like I couldn't remember? I'm like, she throws him out, right? Or does he kind of like
Yeah,
walk-
she like pulls
yeah,
him out.
I know what she does now, and like I always have. Like that's what I was thinking going in, but I was like, let me make sure I'm 100% on that though, because like what'll be weird is if he opens the door and is like, oh shit, there's nothing there.
Like he didn't know his own set.
Yeah, and I'm like, hold on, let me catch this, but there wasn't enough there to think that. Once you find out who the killer is, it's all good.
Dude, that's one thing I love about all these movies is how human they make Ghostface. He is clumsy in every movie. And really, if you want to beat Ghostface, just be around doors. That's
feel-
it. Doors beat Ghostface almost every
I'm not
time.
trying to talk myself up, but every time I see Ghostface, I'm like, I feel like I could square up with this dude. Like,
Yeah.
they're usually like smaller guys too. Like I feel like I'd grab the knife like this, put my hand around his throat, and just fucking choke slam him. Maybe not like when I first saw these movies, and that's what he's after usually is like high schoolers. So maybe not then.
Well, they're constantly getting knocked out or
Yeah.
something.
But watching this as like a 30-year-old, I'm like, I would choke slam this
Yeah, no
motherfucker. Like,
shit.
come over here with that fucking knife, bitch. Like, let me put an end to this. Like, if I'm Patrick Warburton's character, he's
No
done.
shit,
like,
dude.
God, what are you skinny motherfucker? Like, I'd be like, took care of him. Don't know why y'all was having so much trouble. Slammed his little skinny ass. Yeah, that shit's fucked up, dude. Yeah, I like the conversation with like the detective and Sydney back at the police station. I thought that was good.
He would give strong vibes of being
Yeah.
the killer. Like, and Jamie was getting
That
so
was part of that
upset.
conversation too, where she's like, "Oh, you like movies and all that?" And he's
Yeah.
like, I do.
He talks about like how the trilogy, like no, everybody's like no one's off limits, like anybody can die.
And she's even like, "Did you get put on this case?" And he kind of like slowed up a little bit. And he's like, "No, I normally just get attracted to these things. Like he's like a magnet for this kind of bullshit." But I was like, "Ooh, I know you're the killer." But again, too on the nose. We're not
Yeah,
gonna do that.
yeah.
Then we all meet up at the Milton's big ass house. Another good, cool little finale. I like this whole setup. They must have been shitting bricks when they, what the Star 69. I knew I was gonna have trouble reading that, and there it was. They Star 69 to Sydney back after like she had called Dewey and Gail in the car, like meet me over there, and they're like, "Where's Sydney?" It's like, no, I said the actress Sydney's here. That's what what's his name? Fuck. Who's the killer? We'll just give that away at this point. Not Milton.
Or not
Roman?
Yeah, Roman.
Roman, there you go, the Roman Coliseum. He's sitting there, he's like, no, I meant the actress Sydney. And then they like starting to think things are getting a little weird because people are split up and they make that phone call and it's just wow, like the phone's right in the fucking closet
With
and there's the fucking
the
like
voice
you're
changer.
like immediately you're like, oh motherfucker, here we fucking go. Like, there's no doubt this is it. And if you're them, you're like, it's happening again. This is the final showdown. We know it. Damn it. Here we go. I like how actress Sydney went out though. Like how they were just like she slept with the director and she's like I did not suck his dick or whatever she said. Just like to die here in this fucking house tonight. And now this is actually something I've seen used in like an old giallo flick where a girl was watching her on the top of the steps and the killer's like sawing her leg off or something and they slowly pull her way out of sight. Really fucking creepy. But that's what I don't know if they borrowed from that. These Scream movies do a lot of that. But I do like how like she's like dead when they look over the balcony and she's just like sitting there like lifeless and she slowly gets pulled out of frame.
Creepy as shit.
That's a great shot. And I wonder if they borrowed from that a little bit. Very fucking good. Then Black Randy basically gets it and then he's
Thrown out the window.
yeah, dude.
He doesn't land on a mattress, so
I mean, he's like, oh, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like he's funny a couple times in the movie. I like that guy. He's actually been in a few things. He's in Hatchet. He's really funny in Hatchet as John Heder. It's a little side character, the next man up side
John
star.
Hedder's and Hatchet.
He's the main star.
No.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch Hatchet.
You need to watch it. Yeah, he's funny as shit. Not John Heder. Fuck. You're exactly right.
I was about to say.
It's who's the guy from Dodgeball, and he's the guy from Grandma's Boy. That's doing all those
Oh
weird
yeah, I
noises.
don't know his name.
I
but
know it,
who
but
you're
I
talking
always
about.
call him John Heder. It's not even that. I think they almost look and act kind of similar, but their names somehow get mixed around in my head. But yeah, that dude's in Hatchet. Here we go. Yeah, it's a pretty intense scene. Actually, let me circle around back to this. The killer's also like on actress Gale's, might I add. Not Gale, but actress Gale's ass in a heartbeat as well. Like, she's like, right after he's done with him, he is fucking on this bitch's ass too. It's like he was picking off people left and right. from
Almost like
every
sloppy
corner.
though. Like he was being kind of sloppy about it.
Really?
Or
See, I
toward
thought it
the
was
end.
very well done. It was pretty intense scene, wondering if Dewey and Gale were going to get to her in time when she's behind that double mirror, just
Yes,
banging. Like,
yeah.
you hear something, and I kind of thought they were. I'm like, they're gonna fucking get her, and nope. She
I always
just
thought he was
falls
going to
out
shoot
literally.
her through the
Yeah,
window.
that was another thing that I thought of as well. Like when I first saw it, I was leaning on those two things. Like she's either gonna get shot or they're gonna get her out in time, and she's gonna maybe even make it. But they just were like, nope, neither. Just let her fall out dead. They do that shit a lot in these movies where it's kind of unceremonious, but it's also surprising. So it's like, oh shit. So you take it as is. And this is kind of what I was just touching on before the last point I made. I love how the killer feels like he's like everywhere at once at the end of this one. It's like he's here, he's there, and it's not like, like other like horror movies where Jason or somebody, they just show up and it's like unexplainable.
Right.
It makes sense. It's like there's like trap doors. He's just fucking like, I'm here, I'm there, I'm there. It's like, Jesus, this guy can pop out of anywhere. Love that about it. And when Dewey goes to get Gale from the basement and the killer throws a knife at his
Cracked
head.
me up.
Yeah,
So lucky.
He's
He's so
incredible.
lucky.
But this is what's fun. Like, I remember that being in the trailer. Like, that is how the trailer ended. Because I was like, Mom, I was like 9 years old. I was like, we got to see fucking Scream 3. I think it's count when I was 9, 2000. Yeah,
2000.
9. And I remember specifically, I'm pretty sure it's the last shot of the trailer. It's like cutting real quick. And out of nowhere, Dewey like does this with the gun and the killer goes like, and then it cuts as it's like about to hit his head. And I was like, fuck, they killed Dewey. I was like, Mom, we got to see this. I remember being so hyped.
Psych.
And I remember being a kid, I was like, I just don't see any way he can get out of this. The knife is coming right at his head. And then when it happened, I'm like, that makes sense. It just hits with the brunt end. But yeah, that was good shit. But that's something I think back on every time. I'm like, I remember watching this in the trailer. When I was a wee little lad, Sydney gets a call at the station and decides to join the party. Woo fucking who. Sydney saves the day with her other gun because he had her swipe
one.
off the metal detector and shit. But she took her eyes off of the killer when she was untying, Gale and Dewey. Bad idea. Like you did that in the first one. Now you just got played with your own game. The detective showed up out of nowhere, looking suspicious, but was then ambushed by the killer. Then the wild goose chase with the killer and Sid was on. The killer trapped Sydney, and it's Roman ? and it's her brother? Question mark.
Twist after twist.
What
I
is going
love
on?
the twist in this.
Twist on top of twist on top of twist.
And it's with good, solid. Like you could easily make it a brother you didn't know about, and it'd be whack. But the way they did it, I think, was perfect. I think he had very good motive, like solid motive. I mean, it's
yeah.
I just
The angle isn't too big of a reach, but I honestly just don't like the character of Roman as a killer.
really.
No. And I've heard that's what a lot of people don't like about this movie. I'm not going to say I don't like it or do, but this is something like when I'm watching Roman, I'm just feeling like, God, we're just getting further and further from Stu
Yeah, but I
and
think
Billy. I just don't
it'd
really
be
like this
well. Yeah,
guy.
I agree with that. But I think
Yeah.
it's perfect because it's the first time they also kill the killer in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like he gets found with a knife in his heart
Yeah.
in an ice box. So
Yeah.
you think so it's not Roman. Like
yeah,
he's not the killer.
execution is good.
Yeah, that's
But
what
I don't like the actor as the killer. Like I don't take him seriously. Like he was fine as like the goofy kind of director, but like when he was like trying to be serious as a killer, I was like, I just don't like this guy in this role. But yeah, shit, man. When Sydney was shot by Roman, did any of you think she was actually dead? Or were you just like, nope, she's good. She'll live.
Shot who? Elizabeth?
All right, moving on.
No,
Yeah,
I
it was
didn't
a
think
great-
she was dead, but I like how they shot her though.
I like how they shot that bitch.
I do. I like. I mean, I like how that happened.
Yeah, and then
I like how she disappears after
Yeah.
she got shot.
Yes,
Just like the
to
killer's
scare
done.
him. Yep.
Yeah, and he was like, "Fuck."
The ice pick though. Oh, my
man.
god, dude!
It's good
It's
shit.
like right in the heart too. Like when it happens, I just like felt it. Like just.
Yeah,
And then this
stab.
is also the one where they're like, where Randy says in the video, he said, "Now look, this
Yeah.
is the third movie, the trilogy, so the killer could be superhuman. Even the killer could,
yeah.
very
He
very
won't
difficult
die.
to kill. It has to be a headshot or decapitation or yada yada." Which comes back and
Oh,
when
yeah.
she thinks he's dead, and he comes back and they just unload a clip on him, and he's like, "I can't fucking die," and they shoot him in the head. It's like-
It still has to be weird for her though. This like brother she didn't even know she had. And it's just like, hi brother, bye brother.
I'm gonna kill you.
Just like that. Like what a twist of emotions. And then Dewey proposes to Gail at the very end of the movie, and of all of them, including the detective, sit down for a movie, and the door kind of blows open to leave a small field of danger. This would have been a fitting ending.
Well, yeah, I like the end of the movie because the first time you see Sydney in this, she's locking everything up. She closes the gate, sets her
Yeah.
alarm, locks all the locks, and then the end, if you notice, she leaves the gate open when she's walking up with her dog. It was the same kind of shot you saw at the beginning, but she didn't close the gate. She comes inside, doesn't set her alarm, doesn't lock the door, and then as she's walking off, that door squeaks open. And she looks back at it and then just carries on.
Yes.
Almost like she feels more secure and safe.
Yes.
And
Yeah, she's like
whatnot.
writing an end to it finally.
It's like
Which I-
overcoming her
hanging it up.
fears.
I liked how it ended for
She's
sure.
like, how can anything else happen at this point? Well,
Well, wait 11
10
years.
years later, 11 years later. Good God. Scream 4.
2011.
I'll just start off by saying when I first watched this movie, I hated it.
I did not.
Whether it grew on me or not remains to be seen. I like it. But you go ahead, dog.
I was just gonna say my favorite kill in the franchise is in this movie.
Nice. Yeah, there was some better kill
us,
scenes in
Rodney.
this movie, I think, maybe. I'm sure he will when we get to it. At least I hope. We'll probably forget. Maybe you should go ahead and tell us.
Is it beginning of the movie, end of the movie?
It's the one where the guy gets killed.
Okay, sweet.
I like that
So
one.
it's a guy.
It's a guy.
I like how they immediately address the torture porn shit of the time. Very on the nose
Oh,
there.
the Saw. You're
Yeah,
talking about
Saw,
Saw.
Hostel. That was like a big thing of this period of time. So they're immediately 11 years later coming back in, and they have a reason to come back in. They have other things to touch on, which I guess is why they're coming out 10 years later. We got a new kind of wave here. Did you expect old Sarah Marshall to stab one chick? The girl that played Kristen Bell, I think that's her name.
Yeah.
Sarah Marshall from Forgetting
So
Sarah
the-
Marshall.
Anna Paquin
Who?
is the girl that was next to Kristen Bell. Anna
Yeah.
Paquin's the one that got stabbed.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were saying you didn't
And
know
of
who
course
Sarah
I
Marshall-
didn't expect that. But now watching it, I expected it because
You've
Why
seen
don't
it
you
before.
shut
yeah,
up?
I've seen it before. But the thing
That'll
is,
do it.
like you see, like
eliminate a bit of
Kristen
the
Bell
mystery.
gets so pissed off at her talking,
like-
and you're just like, oh, because I never saw that before. I didn't notice how like angry she was getting, and then you see her kind of reach down like this, and I was like, oh, you about to stab this bitch, and then pop,
Yeah, I still would have thought she was reaching for popcorn or something. I would have never thought that was coming, dude.
popcorn.
I mean, this shit, dude, movie after movie, this shit is like stab roulette. Like, what the fuck is real here?
Yeah.
The third opening with Marnie and that one girl is trippy. Just because, think of joking about specific murders with your friend, and these specific murders out of nowhere come to your doorstep while you're in the middle of joking. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like, haha, that's funny. Oh shit, what I'm joking about is literally here in my living room. This just got really real. How is this even possible? It makes no sense. That'd be like me like, what if a shark appeared and one just dropped through my ceiling? Nice to see Allison Brie in this.
Yes.
Although she was more awesome in The Rental.
No.
That she definitely was. I was getting a 30-minute argument. I'm pretty sure she was. I like how we get to see our beloved trio right away as well. They didn't really hold out. They're just like, let's just throw them into this shit. Then we get to meet the youngins. Great casting with Emma Roberts and Hayden Panettiere.
Didn't like Jill at all.
Yeah.
I don't like Jill's character.
Yeah. Kirby is so awesome
I
in this.
love Kirby.
She's fucking amazing. It's like dream girl type shit. The deputy wants a piece of the Dooster, dude.
With them lemon squares.
Dude, she tries way too hard. She's. I do not like that female
Pretty.
officer
Me
character.
either.
Pretty obvious. Really like the cast in general in this one. Like across the fucking board, you got like Anthony Anderson and Adam Brody as the
Yes.
cops. Like, I mean, you can go down the list. They really did a solid bang up job of like adding in these new pieces. To
Wes
balance
Craven is
out
the
movie.
director.
Yeah, that was new. Yeah, I was about to make a terrible joke. I'm not gonna do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I heard he's not directing the next one. But that's where our minds go. Anybody knows me knows I love
Rest
Wes
in
Craven. R.I.P. sir. And it's gonna be I wonder how fifth.
I'm
will
not
be.
gonna
We'll-
watch
we'll-
the trailer for it.
We'll touch on it.
They're gonna
then.
spoil everything.
We'll touch on it then. But yeah. One thing about Dewey, Gale, and Sydney in this one, though, I don't feel like they pop as much. I don't know if they were like directed that way to come across as more mature, but they don't feel as into the roles as me. They
I
kind of
think-
feel like they're going through the motions in this one way more than the other.
I think what Craven was doing in this one was, in a sense, like a torch handover. Like I
Yeah.
think he didn't really want to focus too much on the original trio. He wanted their presence to be known, but I don't think he was wanting the full focus to be on them again to kind of like introduce the new,
Yeah.
you know.
I completely agree, but I'm just saying, like when they're on screen together, like the chemistry
it is a
was
little
not
different.
near
Yeah.
as good. Like it kind of felt like, Sydney, you're back. Yeah, Dewey. Like it was. There was.
I'm not gonna punch you this time,
It was
Gale.
just a natural, like they had a spark to them in the first three. And this one, it feels like just like, yeah, we're back. Like I don't want to
It's
say
probably
for
the 11-year.
for a payday
Gap.
or what.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of shit like Bad Boys fucking 3 that had a huge gap. And
So
it's
good.
like a different kind of movie, but it's just great chemistry. Like it's like they pick it up like it was yesterday. This one, they had the type of chemistry I thought they could do that, and I don't ever hear people talk about it, but I think it's obvious. Like they just don't mesh as well. That's the me thing though. I dig them showcasing Shaun of the Dead on the tube, bro. That was fucking cool. The whole scene that led to Olivia's death was very well done. I fucking love this moment of the movie. You'll see, Rodney. You look confused. Something.
Can't remember who
Where
Olivia was.
it was one of the
Olivia-
three girls. It wasn't
Remember, they get the call,
Emma or Hayden. It was the other girl.
the other chick, and then they get the call and they're joking around like, "Who's
Oh
this?"
yeah, that, okay,
She's the
then-
one
yeah.
that didn't want to come into
Yeah.
Jill's house
Yeah,
because
and it's intense as fuck.
Yeah, I
in
forgot
this
about
scene
that.
too, when he's the killer sitting there and they're just like, "I'm in the closet," and it's like, "Oh fuck!" And he opens it, and they're just like, he's just like, "I didn't say your closet," and he turns around real quick, and the girl across the way is like. And he just comes up behind her. That scene's fucking dope. And the way he kills her is sick as fuck to me because he like stabs her to death and then he picks her up and slams her out the window so she can like
Yeah,
hang
that's
out the
right, yeah.
window. And he's just like looking over at him. Like that is fucking dope. Like he's put a little ice.
This one
that
got a lot
cake.
more gruesome. The
Love.
fourth one was.
Yeah, I love that. That death was probably my favorite in the movie, bar none. That was just.
That's your
fucking-
favorite kill?
Yeah, that was disturbing the way he did it. Like the intenseness of the pre-kill, The pre-cum of it that I had going, the pre-kill, and then the way he like showcased your body and like tossed her out. She was just, it was like, damn, dude, that is fucking like, that is some devilish shit right there. Something about parking lot scenes, though, now we're going back to Allison Brie's character, are really effective to me. Anytime it's like a parking garage, I'm
They're
like,
always scary.
I don't know what it is.
Always.
Yeah, like I wouldn't want to be Dave Franco's wife in that scene.
I hate parking
At all.
garages. I do.
Even as an adult, you're like,
Oh no, I don't even want to do that. I just want to get there as fast as I can. Just unlock and
because
drive.
you're like, where do I go? There's no like door or anything. I guess there's an elevator. Where you go like sprint all the way around. I don't know. You feel like trapped. Yeah, like that whole scene fucked up. And of course, the killer stabs her, and they fucking throw her off.
That's what I was gonna
the
say. I
roof,
love how
dude.
he throws her out of the garage into like the press conference.
Yeah.
That's going on below.
Good
Yeah,
shit.
he did. Yeah.
Why are they having a press conference outside of a parking garage?
That's a good question. Oh well, wasn't it the? I can't remember.
It was the press conference on the new parking garage that was being built behind the parking garage. Yeah. Damn, dude. Y'all ever miss those old school poops when you was? I was just trying to throw something random out there. You're like,
Old school poop.
no, y'all ever miss those old school like high school parties, like the one Gail rigged with cameras though? Like,
Tried to at least.
yeah.
Yeah, I do that. It was a little.
It's like a flashback. Like, man, I miss just having like bashes like that, just doing illegal things as a kid.
What they call it, stabathon is what they called it.
Yeah.
And right before the stabathon, you got a real good hint of Randy 2.0 between we'll just call him Gus and
Talking about
damn.
Charlie?
Yeah, Charlie and who's the other
Call him
one?
Gus.
To do with the camera on his
Yeah,
glass?
yeah, that was
always.
Charlie, right?
No,
No,
the
Charlie
long hair.
Or
was,
no, yeah,
the
long hair's
Colgan
Charlie.
brother.
And then what was his name? Robbie.
I forget.
Robbie.
Could be.
It was
I
Robbie.
forget.
It was Robbie. Believe me.
Yeah, you did get an element of that because you definitely need to fill that void in some way, even if it isn't Randy level of greatness. Did anyone think Gail was going to die in this scene when she got attacked? Because I could distinctly remember thinking she was when I first saw this. Like something about the scene felt really intense, and I was like, "Damn it!" After all these movies, even though they're willingly offing people, that kind of died down a bit to me because they were so in love with keeping this trio intact. Like I was like, this one's coming back 11 years later. They're about to make a boss ass move in the middle of this, and they're about to off Gail.
For me, it was.
I thought for sure she was gone.
It wasn't until the
I
hospital.
wish she was.
When she got stabbed, I didn't think she was gonna die. But when she was in the hospital and they were like, "Oh, she's tough condition. We don't know if she's gonna make it." I was like, "Damn, is he gonna like slow death her? Like, oh, we think she's gonna make it, but she doesn't." Like,
Oh yeah.
That's when I started questioning.
Yeah, I really do. I remember watching this. I was like, holy shit, they're about to kill Gail. It's different this time. Nope. They did not do it. Again, they did not pull the trigger. That's one thing like that kind of backtracks for me in this franchise. Like they always like, let's kill anybody up, let's kill anybody off, but they repeatedly are like, let's kill this trio, but oh, psych, not dead, psych, not dead, psych, not dead. It got to a point by the fourth one, I'm like, stop fucking psyching me out, dude. Like just murder one of them. Have the balls to do it. I like the rules Anthony Anderson and Adam Brody, the cops, were establishing before they actually, get it. And yeah, like Anderson though, the way he
Favorite kill of the movie.
Yeah, I was
That's
waiting for
what-
that.
okay.
Anderson
Dude.
getting stabbed in the middle
forehead.
of the
Stabbed in the
fucking
forehead, and you see, and I know the
He's like,
knives
"Oh."
are fake or whatever, but you see, like, you feel like the knife goes all the way in, like, to the handle part, to his head, and then he pulls that out. And when he gets out of the car, it's like you see Ghostface behind him just kind of like tilting the
Looking
head,
at
like
him.
watching him, and he starts swinging. And
Yeah,
I'm
he's
like,
like, mother.
God, would that be what it's like? Like, would you really, like... But then he got a little too self-aware at the end where he's like, fuck Bruce Willis,
Yeah.
But still, it didn't take away from me at all. I still think that...
Nah, it's really good. That's why I wrote that down. That's like my second favorite kill, I think. Those two kills are definitely the best to me, unless I'm forgetting one. I also really like, this is the other one. This is another great kill to me. I love the stab through the mail slot.
Oh
on
my
Kate,
God,
dude.
yeah.
Or Kate. That's fucking dope. It was just
Killing
like
Jill's mom.
her reaction of just like, you don't see it. You just see her go, "Oh," and you're like,
And
you
Sydney's
put
like,
two and
"Come
two
on."
together, and you're like, oh, fuck, I know what happened. Yeah, like it's the execution of the way it's done. So,
By the way, Scream 3 is the only one with a single killer. We didn't.
Yeah,
we didn't
no,
mention
that's
that.
what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
we
There was
figured.
something when you were talking about like I really like this, and you started talking about Roman, and I was like, I'm gonna when he's done talking, I'm gonna say,
You
well,
forgot.
there's one killer in this one because I thought that's where we were gonna go with it, and when you didn't, I was like, okay, I'm gonna say that, and then I never circled back around to it. And as I was ending it, I was like, I forgot something. Fuck, just move on. I'm not gonna sit here like, what was it for like 10 minutes? Yeah, Kirby might just be my dream girl though, dude.
No shit.
She
dude.
has Suspiria like on deck, just like
Yeah.
right there, dude.
and
Obviously,
she
not the
knows her
remake.
horror shit too.
Oh my god, ready for horror trivia like it's nothing, dude. And man, dude, Charlie, this Culkin
little
brother,
kiss.
he really missed out on the chance of a lifetime of Kirby though.
This scene was great because you're in the middle of trying to figure the climax of the movie is happening. It's about to be there. And you're trying to figure out who the killer is before they tell you who the killer is.
Mm-hmm.
But in this scene, you have everybody but Kirby walk out of the living room. So anybody at that point could have been Ghostface. And I really liked how they did that. Like, that close to the ending of the movie, that making you guess, like, be on your toes on who it could be. Which one of them was, I called it. The other one, I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you really thought, the Culkin brother was going to get to fuck Kirby. But then Kirby fucks the Culkin brother. Anyways, just not in the good way.
Nope.
She doesn't let him inside. She impresses with her trivia, though. Like, when she was like he didn't even give, like, options. She was like, I'm just going to say every fucking horror remake
Mhm.
is this. He's like, it's one of those, right? Right? I knew it. I fucking got it. I was like, fuck yeah. And then she goes outside, and then turns out she gets fucked by the
Yeah.
Culkin brother. It circles back around. But again, not in the good way. Oh, my God.
And that was a very personal kill.
Yeah, I hated
I
that she
loved
was
it.
like,
You had every
I loved
opportunity
it
or whatever.
too, but he's like,
It
"And now
sucked
you
seeing her
fucking
go, but fuck, that was such a good kill. There was so
Yeah.
much emotion in that.
I would be a lot more hyped, dude, if like I found out though that she was in like coming up, like she was gonna be in Scream 5. Like if she became like a more of like a lead star in this franchise,
That
'cause
would have
they,
been dope.
they gotta like pass it at some point if they're gonna keep this thing going.
I don't think they. We'll talk about it after this a little bit, but I don't think. No.
That's actually all I got for this one.
Oh, okay.
I will say it's grown on me a bit, but I initially hated the killer reveal. Her younger female cousin and a Culkin brother? What the fuck is this, Scream?
That's why I didn't like Jill.
I was like, her younger cousin? And then, like, at first I was like, yeah, this is before, like, like, the respect I have for this particular Culkin brother now, especially, like, Lords of Chaos and shit like that. And this movie, he's pretty good in it. He's not bad.
I loved him in this.
Yeah, but when I first saw it, I'm still like, the fucking Culkin brother? And then I'm like, is there someone else? I'm like, the younger cousin? Oh, I hate these killers. Not even like motivations-wise. I'm like, do not make these the killers of all people. And then they honestly just haven't found like anything even remotely close to Billy and Stu.
No.
Like maybe in 5, hopefully.
Doubt it.
Jill's intentions make sense, but like I have trouble believing it.
Yeah.
Like when I'm like, really? Like I just maybe that like is cool in a way because it like avoids like genre tropes and what have you. But like I just can't. And maybe that's what it's supposed to be. It's like, whoa, you're surprised by it. But dude, it's hard for me to even remotely like maybe if there's like little subtle things that like I could pick apart. Like, oh yeah, I mean, I guess that was kind of sinister when you really think about it. I don't know. There just wasn't. It wasn't built enough for me. There's a way to do it, and it just didn't never work for me. I do like her going batshit and hurting herself, though. I thought that was fucking dope.
That was
Psycho.
crazy.
Yeah, she was just like,
Stabbing herself in the shoulder like that. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Ripping her hair
Grabbing
out,
her
scratching
Yes.
her face,
Smashing her
slamming
face.
herself through the table.
Yeah, ending it on slamming it through the table. That was fucking just great, dude. Oh my god. And then back at the hospital, which honestly I don't even know if we needed this whole last hospital thing. Like, I mean, it was all right, but like, I mean, obviously we needed to have it to do that, but I don't know. They maybe could have done
It
something.
made her a
different.
little too desperate
Yeah,
and
it was-
sloppy.
Yeah, like maybe they would have wrote something.
It's like
else there.
the whole time she's looking for fame, but then she finds out she's alive still, and she's like willing to throw all that away to just walk in there and just kill her
But
like
at the
that.
same time, she has no other option.
She
you
doesn't,
might as well
but-
just turn yourself in at that point. Like, fuck, I'll lose. Like, there's just nothing. Like, how are you gonna get away with this, dude? But at least she tried, I guess. But I mean, her heart dropped though. Like,
Yeah.
back at the hospital when she found out Sid was still
You can
alive.
see it in her eyes.
It's like, oh, really?
and dumbass
Can I
Dewey-
see her? Yeah.
Dewey's like, yeah, it's all good. It's okay. No, Dewey.
It's all
Something
good.
against Dewey, Rodney.
God.
Put my dick in the vacuum.
Yeah.
No, dude.
But then she gets the
Don't interrupt me while I'm cleaning
what are those called? The clear-
defibrillators.
Yeah, the
to
defibrillators to the head.
temples.
Yes.
Guess
But
what?
then comes back
back.
from it.
yeah. What in the fuck?
But then I will say I love how Dewey gets the porta-pan to his face
Oh, the
3
bedpan?
times, dude.
Yeah, he's
wrote
like,
that
what
down,
I get
too.
hit with? He's like, you don't want to know.
It's like
Oh
that
my
makes
God.
sense with Dewey.
And honestly, dude, I think Gail, Dewey, or Sid should have like died here. Like 11 years later, you're still like protecting these people.
I wouldn't have
You-
been upset if they killed Dewey.
You are passing the torch, like in a way. I got that vibe too. Just end one of them. Like have that punch to like elevate this movie, dude.
Well, honestly, if you'd have killed Dewey, that'd have been the most emotional because Dewey
because he's
and
retarded.
well, Dewey and Sydney have known each other a long ass time. Gail and Dewey are married, so it's like if you wanted
The
more
connection.
emotion, yes, you would have two people connecting to the one kill as opposed to like the other way around. So
Yeah.
yes,
I did like the very end though, in the final moments where the newscast is like hyping Jill up. Like imagine mid sentence,
Oh, make
getting
American
the call in
Hero.
your earpiece is like, this just in, Jill's actually a bitch. Like after just saying she's a hero,
She's the killer.
Completely change of story here. Wow. Sorry about this, guys. This is a real botch one. We were about to give her the Medal of Honor, and she's actually the biggest asshole of the last 50 years. Yeah.
I like something Sydney
Scream
says
4, man.
in the hospital. Says something about with remakes or whatever, don't fuck with the original.
Yeah,
like
that-
right before she kills.
See that I knew you were gonna say it. That was one of the things I didn't
you
like.
didn't like it.
Like I don't like the first couple movies, like where she was just like, "Fuck you both," and then there was another line in there that was more specific towards that, and it's like you forgot.
I
there's-
killed. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Billy
killed
Loomis is
Billy.
like, I fucking killed him. Like, it was powerful. In the third and fourth one, something about, like, the delivery, it felt, like, forced to me. Like, it's like I knew, I was like, instead of the other ones where I was like, oh, that's dope. This one, I was like, where is it? Where's the line she's going to give? It's like, don't fuck with the original. It didn't hit right for me. That's me, though. Obviously, I'm not definitive on that. What are y'all's scores?
You want to start, Rodney? Or you want me to go?
You go first.
Me?
Yeah.
Flip a coin.
So I'm just gonna go in
For
order
one
of
of
the
us
movies.
to go first.
Well-
There's only two sides.
I'll go. Scream. First one. Absolutely love the movie.
That's your highest or lowest?
So I'm just gonna go in order of the movies.
Oh, okay.
I'm giving the first Scream a 9. Absolutely love it. It's fantastic. Kind of went back and forth. I was at like an 8.8, 9 range. I'm settling on a 9. I think it's
That's
very
pretty high for
deserving.
you,
Which
isn't it?
surprises me because when we were talking about these movies, you didn't sound that hyped to do it. You're like, well, it's Scream. And I'm like, maybe you need to rewatch it or
So I've-
something.
I've only seen the first one. This is my first time watching 2, 3, and 4, actually.
Oh shit.
But
you
it's
really don't need to. They're
it's
terrible.
been a while since I had seen the original Scream, but first
So
one
it
gets a 9.
surprised you? Like you were like, it's a lot better than I remember.
Yeah, absolutely. The opening scene is like perfection, which I know we talked about, but
Yeah, we were like, that was like a 10-minute stretch to start this episode. It was like just talking about that.
Scream 2. Well, I didn't say it in the first one. The first one, I love how self-aware it is and everything. I think that was one of the strengths. They continue that with the second one, which I still liked at this point. Scream 2, I give it 8.6.
Whoa.
Really like the second one. The third one, they continue that self-aware thing, but for some reason, it just doesn't ring as heavy with me. It kind of falls off pretty heavily for me, and I don't like how self-aware, which this is where Tyler texted the group and was like, I don't like when movies are like this or whatever. And for some reason, the third one just doesn't ring home with me as much, and I give the third one a 6.8. And then the fourth one, I actually like more than the third one. Fourth one's getting a 7 flat for me.
Touche. Seems like everybody.
So
Doesn't
yeah.
really like the third one.
I'm 1, 2, 4, 3.
1, 2, 4, 3.
That's a lot of people's rankings.
Nice.
All right. You going, me?
Brandon.
All right. I got to do the countdown. It just makes it a little more intense. I think.
Worst to best.
You always got to. That's just a given. Number 4 would be number 4 for me. Scream 4. This is a movie I hated originally. Did it stay that way? No, it did not. This movie, I'm still going to give it a really good rating, which is a 7 and above for me, but just barely. It's a 7 out of 10. Like I said, the Jill Roberts character, like her motivations make sense. I think once I had that kind of wear off of like, really, it's her cousin, it's still not believable to me, but it works a little bit better. And whereas I became I forget which Culkin brother it is.
Kieran.
Yeah, Kieran Culkin. He's grown on me so much. When I go back and watch this movie now, like I enjoy him as the killer a lot more. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was Roy, but I couldn't remember the name. It starts with R, and he's grown on me. So when I go back and watch this movie, I like it more. The younger cast, I think I was like so hyper focused in on like the original trio, and like since they weren't performing as well, I was like, who is this younger cat? Now like their all performances stood out to me more. This is just a good, early 2010, 2000, like it's 2011, but 2010 beyond slasher. We don't get a lot of these. It's solid enough for what it is. Nothing special to me, like a lot of people say, but it's solid. Yeah, 7 out of 10. Number 3 for me is going to be number 3. Scream 3 is a 7.2 out of 10 to me. At one point, Scream 1, 2, and 3, they were all like 8.5s and above to me. I love these movies growing up, but over time, like I've seen the flaws in them, and maybe I've gotten away from, just being hyped just because Ghostface was on the fucking screen and all these favorite characters of mine are on the screen. This one, I don't know, man. It is, to me, it's a little less, whereas you saying it was scarier, it's a little less than that to me. It's a little more like, I think them being the movie within the movie makes it even more goofy, like all the time. I think the jokes are dialed up a little more. It's just, it doesn't really have like as many intense moments, and I don't like the killer. I don't like Roman like at all. Like I like the idea of Roman, but Roman as the killer, like when he's talking and he's like if they could have got like a better actor to do this or a more intimidating person, I could enjoy it. Scream 3 still solid, 7.2 out of 10. Number 2 is going to be Scream 2. And I really thought I was going to give this one a great rating, but I'm going to not give it a great rating, just by 0.1. 7.9 out of 10. This is a really good movie, and I almost want to give it a great rating just for nostalgia's sake. I've probably seen this one more than any of them. Like, I had this on VHS, and I wore it the fuck out. Love Scream 2 growing up. Now, I'm going to take it down a hair because the more I watch it as I get older, there is like a 20-minute lull in it that like I get really fucking bored with this movie. And I think that keeps it from being great now for me. And then finally, number 1. Got to be number 1. I literally like these movies in order. Even if you went down to the shows, I like it in order. And then the shows, season 1, 2, and 3. This is that weird franchise / TV thing. The first one is by far and away the best to me. It's one of my favorite slashers ever. It's probably my favorite horror movies ever. You can't beat the original Scream. I give it a 9.2 out of 10.
I like it. I like it
a lot.
Worst to best, I give my number 4 spot to Scream 4, along with you.
Yes.
Scream 4 actually used to be like my number 2 spot.
That's shocking.
It did.
No, it's not.
But it's not now. After watching it a couple times, it doesn't have the, I don't know, like the oomph that I wanted out of it. I mean, it has my favorite kill in the series or whatever, but I just, Jill, like you were saying, was non-believable for me, and I don't know. But the movie overall, I still love this movie.
Really?
So yeah, Scream 4, I still give an 8.5.
That's crazy.
My number 3 goes to Scream 2. I like Scream 2 a lot.
This is shocking me right now.
Scream 2, the Timothy Olyphant, bringing him into play was, I thought, incredible. The relationship between her and her boyfriend, like, can she trust him, can she not? I thought they extended into that, which was really solid. the killers being Mrs. Loomis, and everything just worked out really well in this movie. This almost said Scary Movie 2. Scream 2, I can do an 8.7 for Scream 2.
Damn.
So my number 2.
These sound like my old ratings when I was young, and then I grew up and
No,
matured.
I can't help but fucking love these. When I
I'm
watch them,
saying
I'm
that
so happy.
I'm saying
I
that
can't-
in a joking way, but it's actually legit. Like back in the day, this would have been like my ratings as a whole. Go on.
Number 2 goes to Scream 3 for me.
That's surprising.
Scream 3, dude, I love Scream 3. I love how it took 2 movies to get to a movie within a movie. Basically, all your complaints are what I loved about this movie.
No, and they weren't even complaints.
Not
They were
complaints,
just, they
but,
were what,
like-
that's what took it down a
Yeah.
little. Even though I liked it, it's what made it a little less great.
Now, I could agree almost with the Roman point of view of a better actor, maybe, but
Yeah.
I think the whole making you believe he's dead for a second, and then he's like the brother, and then he's the director, and he's the killer. Like, it's all just like mind blowing to me. And then you got the detectives in there, which the whole movie you're thinking that the detectives are in on it, and it's all along it's one killer, and he destroyed it. Like, he was killing everybody easily. Yeah, Scream 3 gets a 9 for me.
The only one that doesn't have Kevin Williamson on as a writer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Which
Yeah,
is something else that
it's
holds it back for me.
Scream
Just
3 is a 9 for me.
bitty. A 9. Jesus.
And
Scream 3 at a 9.
Scream, bro. That's number 1. Scream. It's just so fucking good from the intro to the middle to the end. It's just
Best
beautiful.
pacing. Best
pacing
movie.
is incredible.
Dude,
It's just-
amazing pacing.
Bill, like you keep saying, there's no more Billy and Stu. Like, you can't get better
You'll never
than
be able
Billy
to
and
top
Stu.
that.
And even 5 won't. And I have such high hopes for it, but I know it's not going to be.
You're gonna be let down.
at the no.
If I'm looking at these ratings, you're gonna be like, fucking am let down. Right?
But yeah, everything about the first one is just phenomenal. The first Scream gets a 9.5 for me.
Awesome.
So
Love it. I can agree with
Bam.
that. Even at 9.2, I could easily round up to that. It's that
yeah.
Fuck yes. Hooty hoo!